Greetings, Black family, and welcome to On the Wake Up Radio. First of all, let me know if y'all can hear me. You can get a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me before I even get started. Had a slight technical issue with the intro, so want to make sure that I'm good before I even do anything. Okay, cool. All right. I'll check to see who's in the building in a minute. All right. So that kind of what happened earlier kind of seals it for what I'm doing first. I'm going to upgrade my computer first. Let me see who we have in the building. I actually haven't chosen the music because I'm dealing with tech issues. I guess I'll go with the usual. And see who we got in the building. BB48 you got ripped off. BB48 is 777-9311, who's in the building early. BB48 to Sister Nina. BB48 is Sister Neff. Greetings to Real Black Gentlemen. BB48, Sister Najee. And is that it? Yeah, that's everybody. Okay. So, I don't think I'm gonna be long tonight. So, I think I'm gonna do the Dr. College. We're not gonna be long, but we are gonna be strong. I am definitely gonna have to, if nothing else, upgrade the memory in my computer. The good part about my computer, so the bad part is, gotta spend money. The good part is, the computer is completely upgradable to the point where, like quadruple, maybe more, the RAM and the storage. So that's not the issue. The bad part is I gotta actually get the components and actually sit down and do it. Relatively simple, but not really fun. So yeah, that's that. Yeah. The brother said anybody that wants to contribute to offset the cost of that, you can cash out me you can send it via Cashapp. I'm sign DC Radical 1. and everything is appreciated. As for the mic situation that I told you all about earlier, that's been taken care of by earlier contributions. So I appreciate those who contributed. It's greatly appreciated. So tonight's discussion, and we're gonna talk about I had told you got ripped off a while ago that I was thinking about doing a show called Attack of the Abominable Snow Bunnies. I just thought that was funny. It just came to me one night, and then I didn't do it. I did the show, but I called it something else. Tonight we're doing Attack of the Abominable Snow Bunnies. Brother, you got ripped off. Can you do me a favor? Can you send a message to our wonderful producer, Cindy, asking to see if she's up for checking out the show? Because I did. Of all the things that I sent to everybody, she unfortunately wasn't included in any of them, weirdly enough. So that's an oversight on my part. But yeah, so this is what inspired this. And then we're gonna get into the stories one by one. We got 4 different stories to cover. I looked up and I saw the case of the Tennessee female cop. And you know what? I forgot we are live on Instagram. Hold on, let me make sure we're live on Instagram. Because if we actually are live on Instagram, I need to be saying what's up to the Instagram family, but I'm not sure we're live. So I'm trying to check that. But what happened is I looked up, right? Yeah, we're live on Instagram. Let's see. Okay, cool. So I looked up and I saw a story where the female cop who, was as they say, as his brother used to say back in the day, he said it, his folks used to say, he was giving it up out of both draw legs. She won a lawsuit for half a mil. And so I saw that and I'm like, that's wild. These are wild to me. Considering, everything that went on seemed to be of her own volition, and she was married, so she was cheating on her husband. And so I went to look and see what's going on. I was like, well, what was the basis of the lawsuit? So we're gonna talk about that. I mean, it's just amazing to me, man, that somebody can go out here, and just out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to find a non-vulgar way to say it, but I'm just saying she is what did Brand Nubian say in that song "Slow Down"? She can make a bread spring, sing a song of mercy. That's basically what we're talking about, right? And then somehow she flips it to being a victim, and the city decides to pay her off. To me, it's crazy. Like it's the craziest come up. So, and her husband stayed with her. Before they straight black pride, brother Kevin. Before they straight black pride, sister Vanessa. And her husband stayed with her. So she just won all the way around. You got to go out here. She got to have her 304 phase, as they call it, in her marriage. Get everybody else involved fired and get $500,000. Like, bruh, what is happening right now? Before they do Ito Vital. You see what I'm saying? So I saw that story. I was like, all right, that's crazy. So I was like, I'll do a radical report on it. Like, it's not really a big deal, but I'll do a radical report. And then next thing I know, I see some case where some brother gets he gets acquitted of violating. So I hadn't heard anything about this case. I didn't know anything. So I looked into it, I was like, wow, he didn't dodge a bullet, he dodged a cannonball. You know, he dodged an artillery fire. So I saw that stuff, and then I just saw some other stuff, and then something happened kind of regionally here. I'm just like, man, these snow bunnies that these dudes love, they out of control. So I've been talking a lot about the war in Europe and everything like that, and I just wanted to change up the pace. I just wanted to have somewhat some fun. I mean, the stories aren't good, but it's a change of pace from what we normally do. So we're gonna take a little lighthearted look. We're gonna poke some fun at the snow bunnies and the snow bunny lovers, because hey man, these are some of the random situations you might have to deal with dealing with these folks. So I'm gonna start with let me see who I'm gonna start with. I actually don't know who I'm gonna start with. I don't know. Let me see. How do I have this set up? Okay. Let's see. We're gonna start with I'm gonna start with a local story. Sorta. It's not local. But we're gonna start with this. We're gonna start with I think the most heinous thing first. So y'all ready to ride with me? Let's go. So says 23-year-old sought in deaths of 3 of her roommates, caught after high-speed chase, authorities said. This is from June 7th. Says a 23-year-old woman wanted in the deaths of her 3 roommates, all in their 60s and 70s. Let's stop right here. What is happening? How's a 23-year-old roommating with people in their 60s and 70s? Who thought this was a good idea? Who is she related to even get in this house? They were in the house. Like, there are many questions that I have, right? Anyway, says the sheriff's office in Spotsylvania County in northeastern Virginia says deputies were sent to a house in Fredericksburg Tuesday night for a welfare check and found 2 men and 1 woman deceased with upper body trauma. Investigators determined that the suspect was the victim's roommate, Alyssa Jane Venable, the officer said. He was wanted on 3 counts of second-degree murder and a firearms charge. Now, I don't know why they did second-degree, but hey, that's what they charged. Anyway, according to the sheriff's office, New York State Police troopers in Steuben County spotted a gray 2009 Honda Civic Thursday evening that matched the description of the car Venable was known to drive and tried to pull it over. But, the officer said, the driver refused to stop and a pursuit was initiated with speeds reaching 100 miles an hour. So, okay, so the Honda Civic got a little giddy up in it. It's not the car I would pick if I'm trying to run away, but hey, it is what it is. At one point, the officer continued, a tire deflation device was used that caused the Civic to crash. They were serious. They like, nah, break out the Batman equipment out here. Anyway, Venable was taken into custody without further incident and brought to a hospital as a precaution. No members of the public or law enforcement were injured, and Venable's extradition back to Virginia was being set up, the sheriff's office said. It identified the victims as Robert John McGuire, 77, Gregory Scott Powell, 60, and Carol Ann Reese, 65. An office spokesperson didn't immediately respond to a request for additional information on Venable and how she came to live with the victims. Court records show that Venable was charged with misdemeanor assault and battery in May. Public Defender's Office in Fredericksburg is listed as her attorney in the case, didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. All right, so let's stop right here. So we have a 23-year-old woman. So I got a picture of her. Maybe another picture is on the other story. We have a 23-year-old woman living with some people in their 60s and 70s. And she decides to off everybody. And one of the reports said that they thought that there may have been some money involved, right? Let's think about this for a moment. So a college-age girl moves into a house with a bunch of elderly people and offs everybody in the house, and then tries to run away from the police in a Honda Civic. Just another day in America. By the way, and I forgot to mention, how many people have watched the Ancestral Shorts? We started a new segment, Ancestral Shorts. We're going to have shorts with real quick quotes from different ancestors, recent ancestors that we got video of. If you haven't checked that out, afterwards, go to the shorts page or tomorrow, whatever, and check those out. I got another one dropping tomorrow and another one dropping the day after that. And I'll have some more set up. Would have had some more set up today, but it's a long story. I'll tell you tell you that story another day. It was interrupted while I was trying to set those things up. But I mean, anyway, Amos Wilson. One of the shorts is Baba Amos Wilson, and he talks about America being a crimogenic society, right? And he says that because the society was founded on crime, is rooted in crime, and thus it is a crimogenic society. And so when you look at it, like how many other places on earth would a female just off 3 elderly people just for money? Like they don't really know. Like where else in the world does this type of stuff happen? You see what I'm saying? And we always get these narratives about black people being criminal, and we know all the stereotypes. But does anybody talk about this type of stuff? Later on we're gonna talk about teachers or a teacher, but I did a whole thing on teachers and their inappropriate attention that they're giving the students. Do you know that you cannot put in a search for that without just being inundated? Like, you won't even be able to find the case you're looking for. And if you just put teacher, inappropriate relationship, student, or especially like female teacher, man, it's unbelievable the number of cases that come up in your search. So can we be honest? I'm gonna just be honest. American women, y'all know what I mean by it. American women low-key out of control. And nobody wants to talk about it. Like, they talk about it a little bit and talk about feminism, blah, blah, blah. That type of stuff. But now, I mean, just going buck wild. Just out of control every way, shape, or form. And we're going to talk about that tonight, because every crime that we discuss tonight is going to be different. So we're going to be covering a vast array of criminality as we go through this case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the video on Miss Venable so y'all can see. I do believe they have a picture in that, and y'all can hear the case and the charges and everything that went on with that. So give me a second. And deal with our music, sort of. And check out this report.
office. The woman who was arrested following a high-speed chase in New York shot and killed 3 of her roommates who range in age from 60 to 77.
Northern Virginia Bureau reporter Drew Wilder has the new details and our first glimpse into a possible motive.
New tonight, police search warrant documents are giving us a glimpse into that heinous triple murder here in Spotsylvania County earlier this month. We've known that 3 roommates were killed and that the 4th roommate was and is the suspected killer, but now we've learned that there was a 5th roommate inside of that home. He wasn't there at the time, but when he got home, he told police that he was the one who discovered the bodies. A 60-year-old man, a 65-year-old woman, and a 77-year-old man all found shot and killed inside of the small home they rented in Spotsylvania County on June 4th. Their roommate, 23-year-old Alyssa Venable, was the suspected killer, on the run at the time until a high-speed chase in New York ended in her arrest 2 days later. According to a Spotsylvania County search warrant, a 5th roommate called police after finding one of the victims dead on the couch from a gunshot wound to the head. Another victim was shot in the head in the bathroom. The 3rd, shot in the garage and covered up by a table and a mattress. In the hours after the killings, 2 friends of the suspect had reached out to police concerned about her. The affidavit says Alyssa Venable had dropped her dog off with a friend. Another friend told police Venable said she had, quote, hurt people, and left them a package containing, quote, a suicide note, cash, instructions on how to care for her dog, and all of her account passwords, end quote. It's believed Venable first drove west, possibly to Cincinnati, before turning north, until she was stopped in New York, where police say she had put an Ohio license plate on her car. Friends and family tell News 4 that Alyssa Venable might have lived in that house a month, maybe 2. In those search warrant documents, it outlines that detectives are looking for an amount of cash because they believe robbery might have been a motive here. They were told during their investigation that there might have been a large amount of cash at that home, but during their search, they didn't find anything. Alyssa Venable has a preliminary hearing scheduled here in Spotsylvania County for July 17th. Reporting in Spotsy, Drew Wilder, News 4.
That was the local news report for that. I'm just be completely honest. Like, you off 3 people, or just like kind of low key randomly, and I'm just gonna wait to see what happens in this case, because I'm just gonna see how they try to draw up sympathy for her and talk about her childhood and whatever. Like, cause when I just saw the story, how you see someone in the news, or you know how you walk past your TV, or the TV's on, but you doing whatever you're doing, and you hear it, and you like, I must be tripping, because it sounds like they said that a woman got rid of 3 people. And then when I actually looked at the news, I was like, oh yeah, no, that's what happened. I'm not tripping. And so, yeah. Listen, I'm gonna just say this to the brothers. Look, this is what's on the table, right? You deal with these people, and you just never know when they just like, you know what? I don't like this person anymore, and so I'm going to send them on to their maker. I don't even know. They trying to find a motive and talking about money. And then what's crazy is she went and handed off the dog and gave people her social media or whatever, I guess, so they can tell what happened or whatever. And then said, I hurt people. Like, I don't think that, is there like a bigger understatement than you hurt people? That's all you got. I hurt people. Yeah, you did a little more than hurt people. So anyway, let me read the second article in this case and then just move on. But I just wanted, I don't know if I should have started with the worst, but yeah, here we are. Anyway, we get the advertisement over there. Shout out to News 4. It says, Robbery may have been a motive for the triple homicide of 3 roommates in Spotsylvania County, Virginia, earlier this month, according to search warrant documents. The Abominable, 23, as we heard, got rid of a 60-year-old man, a 65-year-old woman, and a 77-year-old. Now, hey, can you imagine? You have lived 3/4 of a city. You're probably just in your house, relaxing, minding your business. You know, you want to get ready to watch Matlock or something. You know, I don't know. You know, see if your roommates want to play what's the card game old people used to play? Bridge. I don't know if people still play that anymore. I don't actually know how to play. Or whatever, you know, whatever you want to do and can do at 77. And then next thing you know, this chick pulls out the hammer and sends you on to the great beyond in your own house. Like, how disrespectful was that? You survived. Oh, that was what this person survived, right? You know, you go back 80 years. What is that? Like 50s or something? Like, who knows what they survived, right? You survive all that, whatever. You're 77 years old, trying to sip some coffee and read it. You know, you probably still read the newspaper or whatever. And then hear this shit come and just, this is crazy, man. I'm kind of speechless and dumbfounded. Anyway, let's finish this up. Search warrant documents say detectives are trying to locate cash, believing that robbery might have been a motive, because detectives were told a large amount of cash was possibly in the home, but it wasn't found during the police search. Venable was arrested 2 days after a high-speed chase in New York. The sheriff's office said they believe she first drove west, possibly to Cincinnati, before turning north to New York, where police say she put on an Ohio license plate on her. I mean, she must have been watching some movies or something. According to a Spotsylvania County search warrant, the 5th roommate called police after finding one of the victims deceased on the couch. Wow. Anyway, another victim. So she was going for headshots for everybody, and then caught somebody in the garage. Talking about in the hours after the slayings, 2 friends of the suspect had reached out to police, concerned about her. Why are they concerned about her? All right, I'm done. I'm done. They're concerned about her. For what? You know? Anyway, on to the next story. All right, we got rid of that. That was crazy. Alrighty, what's next? Married Virginia teacher admits to sneaking into 14-year-old student's home to get her swerve on. Those are her pictures of her. I believe that was her husband. And yeah, let's get into that. Let me see. Any comments? And since Vanessa say he right. I ain't even think about that. He survived the scandemic. He survived that, and then listen. Right? Yeah, how about that? At his age, when those were the people that was getting sent out of here. All for this chick. So anyway. Now let's look at this. Married teacher sneaks into 14-year-old's home to get her swerve on. Let us take a moment to pause and think about the insanity of what I just read. You know, there was a time where the into the girl's room, and then the father coming upstairs and the boy jumping out the window. Now we got adults sneaking into children's room instead of teenagers sneaking into each other's room. Anyway, it says a married teacher faces up to 50 years behind bars after pleading guilty to having intimate relations with her 14-year-old student over the school year at his home, where her DNA was recovered from his sheets. Megan Pauline Jordan, 25, who taught at Hungary Creek Middle School in Henrico County, I have no idea where that is, pled guilty to 4 counts of carnal knowledge and 1 count of indecent liberties with a minor, which are all felonies. During the 22-23 school year, Miss Jordan was being intimate with her 14-year-old student. Henrico County Commonwealth's attorney Shannon Taylor announced Tuesday. On several occasions, Miss Jordan would go to the victim's house and get her groove on. Her DNA was recovered from his sheets and all. And this is her. I don't know what all these pictures are and stuff. Oh, what in the world? What is happening? Anyway, this is her. This is what's her name? Megan Pauline Jordan. She continues to be held without bond and faces 50 years. Don't they look so happy together, the bride and groom? All right, let me stop right here. I'm gonna ask this. If your blushing bride was arrested for assaulting a 14-year-old, would you stay committed to this person? You know, if you would, put a 1, and if you would not, put a 2. I'm just trying to see something. I'm trying to see if I'm true, you know. So yeah, man. Look, court, you got ripped off. Got to make it extra. Look at them. Like, don't they look so happy? This guy has no idea who he's marrying. He's up there chilling. Like, yeah, man, I got me a good one. You know, we gonna start a life together. No, you ain't. You absolutely are not. You're going to continue your life, and she's going to the slammer, as they used to say. And yeah, I mean, can y'all imagine when he starts dating again? The stories he's going to tell. He'll be like, so, you know, what was your last serious relationship? He'll be like, oh my God. Yeah, I was married before. It didn't work. She was not the person I thought she was. And they be like, what do you mean? You're like, you don't want to know. They're like, no, I want to know. You're like, yeah, you know what? Let me just send you this article. That's why she wasn't the person. So let me get back to the article real quick. Because this stuff is crazy, man. Look at them. They all, what is this? It's like, what is it, Halloween or something? Like, they all chilling and doing pictures and dress up, and oh man, you know, he thought he had the cool. One person claimed on social media that Jordan was his teacher. I knew there was something wrong with her and the student's relationship. The student wouldn't do any of the work, and she wouldn't bat an eye. Yeah, because he was doing his work for extracurricular, extra credit after school. I noticed subtle flirting and teasing. The tension between them was insane. She deserves a life sentence for grooming this child. They totally disgusted. I don't blame them. The disgraced teacher faces up to 50 years. Taylor cited the brave action of those who brought the matter to the attention of Henrico Police Division. We are always asking people if they see something unusual or not quite right, say something. So they always see something, say something. I guess that worked in this case. Because of their efforts, the predator is off the streets, out of our schools, and will be held accountable for her actions. The Commonwealth attorney added in a statement. Do I have anything else for this? I think we got one more. Okay, we got the sentencing. All right. So yeah, just real quick, we go do the sentencing. It says a former Enrico middle school teacher was sentenced to was sentenced to 6 years in prison for multiple crimes. Am I reading that right? Or am I tripping? Yeah, that says 6 years. Megan Jordan Swanson of Chesterfield pled guilty to several counts of carnal knowledge and one count of indecent liberties for a minor earlier this year. The victim was a student of Swanson's during the 22-23 school year and was 14 at the time of the offenses. Last year, police said the acts happened while Swanson was a teacher at Hungary Creek Middle School. On Monday, she received a sentence with 34 years suspended. After she served 6 years, she'll be placed on 20 years of supervised probation. And I'm assuming she'll be on the list, the offenders list. I'm assuming she got off light. He won't even be out of. This child won't even be out of college if he goes to college. If he isn't so traumatized that he can go to college. So she didn't even get enough time that he'll even go to college. So anyway, we're gonna check out the video of this case. The more I think about it, the more disgusted I get, because she really got a slap on the wrist for just a complete violation of a child. And anyway, let's check out the video.
Megan Jordan indicted and charged with sex crimes against a student. The prosecution planning an easier path to circuit court, according to CBS 6 legal expert Todd Stone.
The fact that this was charged with a direct indictment rather than an arrest warrant, it's a smart and efficient way for a prosecutor to charge a case like this, because they depend on the testimony of a juvenile, which sometimes, can be shaky. And so it eliminates one additional hearing that the juvenile would have to go through in order to get it up to circuit court.
Court documents spell out the teacher is alleged to have had oral sex with a teen in her care between April 21st and June 6th. Crime Insider sources tell me it was one male teenager victim, and every charge of carnal knowledge is a separate incident.
It was not a rape, it was not a forcible sodomy, it was not something that she forced him to do, something that he agreed to do, but the law recognizes that a 13 or 14-year-old can't really agree to do that legally. So there are very serious offenses. They call for not just a period of incarceration, but also the sex offender registry for life.
The school division releasing a statement to CBS 6 saying in part, Megan Jordan is a former HCPS employee who is no longer employed by the division. We are working with authorities while they fully investigate these charges. Due to the ongoing nature of the investigation, we have no additional details to share at this time and defer any questions about the investigation to the Henrico Police Division. They add, this is an extremely serious and upsetting situation. We have communicated with families at the school and will continue to support our school community in any way needed.
Yeah, as I was saying. So she got 40 years, 34 suspended. In essence, she got one per count of the indictment. And I mean, nothing. This is far necessary. Of course, she received slap on the wrist. I wouldn't expect anything less. I'm not gonna lie. I expected more than that. I expected and she would at least be in until the child was at least out of college, but apparently not. Sister Neff says, this case reminds me of another. Case reminds me of another story of a teacher-student relationship. They're married now that he's grown. Dude, that's that's terrible. Yeah, this happens so often that it's to the point now where, to be honest, teenage boys are probably in as much danger from their teachers as teenage girls are from their teachers. Like, I don't know if it's because I focused on it, but I see this so many times with these young female teachers. And the thing is, especially with the European ones, it seems like really like 75% of them that I see, they're married. I have seen some sisters, they tend not to be married. Not that that's any excuse for the behavior, because it's disgusting, filthy behavior, and you should be punished either way. But I'm saying, to me, it's even worse because you're married. Who knows what else this woman is? Because if you're doing this, I mean, what else are you doing? Right? Because why? If she doing this, how do we know she's stopping at this? And this guy married this female. I just can't even imagine, man, like what would be going through his mind to think about when you marry a woman. There's like some things that you probably think she could do. Like, there's a bad side to her. Like, worst come to worst, she might do something. But to me, that would never cross my mind. My girl works at the school and I might have to watch her around the children. Like that, you know what I'm saying? Like that. Whose mind does that cross? Like, that's crazy. And yet, here we are, as that old song, I think it was King T or somebody way back in the day, said this type of stuff happens every day. Sister Najee said, it seems like danger's the same across genders. I thought you were about to say seems teenagers are in more danger from teachers than the police. They may be in more danger from teachers than the police because they interact with teachers every day. Everything's out of control. Everything's out of control. And these females, they're definitely completely out of control. So that was that case. So we're halfway done and we're right on time. And whether you got ripped off, if you still available, can you put I guess you can. I was going to say, can you put the information for this Saturday's event up? But I don't think you can actually put that. So that means I need to find it. Anyway, this Saturday, Ask Them, the anti-sexualization of children movement is having their I guess you could say grand opening. And Ask Them is a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization that deals with making wholesome curriculums and ways to counter the effects of the indoctrination of our children in the schools. So if your children aren't being just blatantly assaulted by their teacher, many times they're being psychologically assaulted with propaganda, advocating rainbowism and all types of backwards thinking and genocidal behaviors. So the official curriculum is dropping, and this Saturday at noon. I will put the flyers in the community tab. So go to the community tab of my page. It's the last picture that I put up. And I know the sister that's in charge of that. I think very highly of her. She's very capable, extremely intelligent and organized, and completely dedicated to the rise of our people. So And brother, you got real dog says that his entire family contributed to this effort. So we're ecstatic about the unveiling of it all. So that's definitely a worthwhile thing to support. Again, it's 501c3. So your contributions to ASCM are tax deductible. And so when I'll get the information for the website and I'll start putting that in the chat. And actually what I think I'll do, we'll get some type of video presentation and we'll start putting that in the live streams. So that is that. So let us move on now to our next case. I try to remember what's next. Okay, so yeah, top stories of 2023. Number 2, 5 Laverne officers fired amid scandal. You know, y'all remember that Prince song, "Scandalous"? But this is way more scandalous than what he was talking about in that song. Because he was just talking about you and me, or him and some female. You know, he wasn't even thinking about this. This is scandalous. This is her and these guys and some other people who aren't pictured, right? Now let's take a look at this picture, right? Y'all can see that? Let me know y'all can see this picture. In this picture, we have the scandalous female, and she's Caucasian, from what I can see. The people that were fired are Juan Lugo, Henry McGowan, Seneca Shields, and I don't know who Lewis is, but like Lewis looks like he doesn't miss any days in the gym. He looks like that cop that stops you and has to prove that he also harasses black people. He looks like that cop. I don't know if y'all are familiar with those type of cops. I ran into a few of those when I was in my younger days. It's always an unpleasant experience to run into the black super cop. Now, there were some other people involved in this case. Those people were not fired. I'm going to let y'all guess. Number 1, what do all the fired people, besides Megan, what do they have in common? And so I'll let you guess, what do the people who were not fired, what do they have in common? As we go back and talk about this case, as we remember, because this happened a while ago. Now, says this year's coming to a close. Well, last year. And WSMV4 is counting down the days with the top stories you clicked on throughout 2023. Coming in at number 2 was a story that began in the first week of January and carried on throughout the year, as 5 Laverne police officers were fired in part of an ongoing investigation into multiple intimate events between members of the department's evening shift. So the whole evening shift was getting in on the act, shall we say. The whole evening shift. That's crazy. Anyway, following the firings, multiple lawsuits were filed, and Laverne even hired a new police chief. Yes, they did. Wait, what? Wait, what does that say? It says a girls gone wild party, strip Uno, and lies. WSMV obtains transcripts of Laverne police scandal interview. Okay. Okay. You know what? I'm going to have to look into that and do a whole radical report on that, because the stuff he's talking about, strip Uno? Oh, they was going buck wild. This is way. Wait a minute, man. Hold up. Y'all see this, right? Am I tripping? If you are engaged in girls gone wild activity, this is what they're saying, and strip Uno, how are you a victim? And yeah, brother, you got brother, real black gentleman, you had 3 black men and a Hispanic. And you had some Europeans who were connected with this, but they didn't get fired. But I'm not even gonna click on it. I'm so tempted to click on it because strip uno is wild to me. Like that. How do you just take a good family game like Uno and just turn it into some debauchery? That's bonkers. Anyway, the investigation started on December 12th, 2022, when Mayor Jason Cole reported rumors of the activities to the city's Human Resources Department, according to an investigative report obtained by WMSV4. Cole said he received information from a source that Officer Megan Hall was having intimate relations with other members of the Laverne Police Department. Those employees included, but it should say, but not limited to, Sergeant Lewis Powell, Officer Patrick Magliocco. Okay, we know he's not black. Officer Larry Holliday, Detective Seneca Shields, Officer Juan Lugo Perez. I think they left out some people, but anyway, this is crazy. Think about it. All of the men admitted to having undisclosed intimate relationships with Hall, the investigative report said. It adds Shields told city officials Hall, applied services while they were on duty, including the police department gym, before returning to their desk for the workday. The report also uncovered a Girls Gone Wild type party, including multiple officers and their families, and a hot tub on Sergeant Eric Stack's houseboat. Hey, how does a police sergeant in Tennessee afford a houseboat? Anyway, the report says Hall's top came off and officers were drinking heavily. Wait a minute, what do you mean it came off? Did she take it off? The wind blew it off? Like, what are we saying? What are you talking about? Anyway, Hall, Lugo Perez, Powell, Shields, and Sergeant Henry Ty McGowan were fired. Holiday, Magliocco, and Gavin Schober. Okay, we can look at these names. We know who they are. Were suspended. Laverne has a 60-person police department with 11 open sworn positions. Stats, who was the Laverne Fraternal of Police president, said he was aware of the investigation and none of the officers offered a comment. So there's 60 people on the force, and it appears that she was with at least 5. That would be 8% of the entire force, but it's possible that she was with 8 of the 60, which would be about 12% of the police force. So we'll just say that she was with at least 10% of the people in her job, and that included 60 people. Just take all the time you need to process the information that I had provided. Now, how in the world, with all this going on, you got parties, you got activities in the gym, out in squad cars and all types of stuff going on, and yet, well, you know what? Let's go to the second half of this, because how this ends up to me is crazy based upon what we just read. Okay. Now look at this, bro. I saw somebody's video. They said she out here looking like what's that show with Stewie and the dog, or maybe Stewie is the dog? Is it Family Guy? Don't she look like the sister on Family Guy with these glasses out here looking crazy? Brother say lewd enforcement on duty. Right. Yes, all right. Police officer who they didn't cut any corner, who slept with 6 co-workers, settles lawsuit. So yeah, so 10% of the force remember, you represent a percentage of the force, so over 10% of the force is involved, but she's 10% of the force by, she defiled herself with 10% of the police force. Settled lawsuit against members of the police force that she was fired from. This is crazy. Anyway, Megan Hall has settled her lawsuit against the city of Laverne and 3 of her former superiors in the department. The former officer was fired from the Laverne Police Department in Tennessee in January 2023, less than 2 years after joining. Shortly after she was let go, Hall filed a lawsuit against the city of Laverne, her former police chief, Burrell Chip Davis, and former sergeants McGowan and Lewis Powell. Now, what police chief Davis got to do with it? I didn't see him engage in no type of activity. What? Anyway, Hall was sacked from the force after admitting to a string of encounters with her co-workers while on duty. It was also alleged that Hall and her fellow officers in question were sending X-rated images of one another. Wait, what? Wait, hold up. Wait a minute. Nah, we're going to get to this. Let's get to the end of this paragraph. 3 of the officers who admitted to the relationship were fired along with Hall, as was Police Sergeant Henry Todd McGowan. Other officers were suspended for their involvement. All right. Let's check this out. You're sending pictures back and forth. You have engaged in girls gone wild behavior. That's according to them. Like, you are the police department jump off. And yet somehow you win a lawsuit for $500,000. Does anyone want to explain to me how this works? Excuse my ignorance. I'm still waiting to see the part where any of this was not voluntary and was crazy. And I didn't bring up that article. I had it up, but my computer was acting weird, so I had to reboot. But her husband, because let's not forget this part. This is a married woman out here just 304ing it up. This is a married woman. She has a husband. Her husband worked, if I'm not mistaken, he's a police officer. He works in the department. He said that he's gonna stay married to her because he's a church dude. Listen, look here. This goes out to any man, brothers, others, whatever. If your woman is out here in the streets, taking videos and like doing stuff that women do for OnlyFans, but she ain't even got an OnlyFans. If you gonna stay with her, you might as well just make her do an OnlyFans and get paid. Because otherwise, I don't know what you're doing. Because she already doing OnlyFans. She already doing OnlyFans content for free. You know what I'm saying? She already engaged in that activity. So yeah, if you're staying with her, which I do not advise, because this behavior is not going to change. I don't care what nobody talking about. Sort of an exorcism. Because to me, what it looked like is a below average European female got around some big buff brothers and lost her mind. That's what it looks like. And then she put up the innocent European female role. And, oh, I was groomed. I didn't know how to say no. Blah, blah, yada, yada, blah, yada, yada. Right. We'll get to the video in a minute. So, this dude staying married to her, that's why all of this is just wild to me. And unless he's staying because he think he's gonna get some of that money, but I don't think he's gonna get none of the money. I mean, she's sharing with, and she might share the money with some dudes. She's sharing everything else with some dudes. Anyway, let's get back to the article. This is great. Said, bet those Negroes won't get rehired. Yeah, they gonna be They're gonna have to be bouncers at a club or something. You know, maybe you have to move out of town. Anyway, what? Come on, man. Look, all right, can we? All right, let's talk. Let me talk to the brothers again. This is crazy. I'm just looking at this, bro. This picture is absolutely disgusting. Anyway, all right. Listen, I understand how this works. I'm a man. Somebody says, "Hey, Charlie over there, she down for whatever," right? And you look, and you check her out, and you be like, "Word, hey, word, I'm telling you." And then they tell you, and you contemplate it. But come on, man, if you're gonna lose your whole career, you gotta do better than this. I'm just kidding. Just keep it at 100. Got to do better than this. This ain't it. This ain't it, fellas. This is not it. If there's a time to have discipline and not risk your whole career, yeah, look at this, man. Come on, bro. Anyway, describing herself as vulnerable and optimistic 24-year-old woman, the suit went on to allege they colluded in using their authority to systematically disarm her resistance and entrap her in degrading and abusive relationships, even sharing tips on the best ways to manipulate and exploit her. Bruh, I'm gonna say this. Her lawyer is outstanding. But this is the biggest load of malarkey I've ever read in my life. And the young people would say, "Stop the cap." But settlement agreement has been reached. That over a year on from her firing, and Hall has reached a settlement. Okay, I was reading that so wrong. Read it too fast. The now 28-year-old, boy, them 4 years was rough. That earlier picture than that. Anyway, will be paid a whopping $500,000. This is crazy, which includes court costs, attorney's fees, and expenses paid out by the city's insurance. $500,000. Even if she only takes home half of that, that's still $250,000. The Laverne Board of Aldermen voted to pay the money to close the case on Wednesday, March 20th. The board voted 3-1 in favor of settlement, according to the Daily Mail. Statement from the board reads: the Laverne Board of Mayor and Aldermen voted tonight to authorize the mayor to sign a settlement agreement between the city of Laverne and former police officer Megan Hall. The agreement was negotiated between the attorneys representing the city and Hall, I guess, and Hall's representation. The city's insurance provider will pay the sum of $500,000 to Hall as a gross settlement, which includes court costs, attorney's fees, and expenses. The city denies any admission of liability, and no taxpayer funds will be spent to settle this lawsuit. Speaking after the settlement was reached, Hall's lawyer Wesley Clark Brazil Clark PLLC said they were absolutely pleased with the result. Okay, so we're going to check out the video report of this case, because yeah, this is wild to me. You know, maybe I don't know if it's as wild as y'all, but this one is a hard swallow. And let's load up Megan Hall.
Remember the eyebrow-raising sex scandal that rocked the Laverne Police Department? We first told you about the mess in January of last year. The shocking details sounded like a bad movie script, made national news, as 5 officers and then the police chief all fired. The city then found itself facing a lawsuit filed by a former female officer. Well, tonight word comes the city has settled the case with a hefty payment. Our Nikki Hauser heard directly from city leaders.
After that scandal, former police officer Megan Hall sued the city. Then tonight, over a year later, the city of Laverne held a special meeting in which they decided they would pay out Megan Hall $500,000, officially ending that lawsuit.
Motion to approve as it is reading here.
It took less than 5 minutes.
No.
Alderman Hobbs?
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nutt.
Aye.
Motion passes.
For the Laverne City leaders to say yes, they'll pay former police officer Megan Hall $500,000.
What message does that send to all the other employees?
Alderman Dennis Waldron was the only dissenting vote.
He's sending a message out to everybody in the world, said, come to Laverne, sue Laverne because they're going to settle.
The city as a whole now agreeing to pay Hall, but denying any admission of liability.
It's hard being in the minority.
This after the story of the Laverne police sex scandal exploded early last year, revealing a pattern of inappropriate activity inside the department. Reports detail sex between officers on duty and on city property, intimate photos and videos shared among officers, and silence from the police chief, who was clued into what was happening.
Convince her to engage in sexual activity that she didn't want to.
Hall and her lawyer claim it was a hostile work environment that groomed her.
While I was aspiring to protect my community, the Laverne Police Department was not protecting me.
She, along with 4 other officers and the police chief, were fired. Hall talked to News Channel 5 about the affair early last year.
I know what most people are saying. You know, you could have said no. I get it. But my response to them is that I did say no, and he wouldn't take it for an answer. Eventually, I gave in from pressure.
Wednesday's vote ends both Hall's lawsuit against the city and against 3 of her former superiors in the department.
We have improved a lot.
As the city still works to rebuild trust in the public eye. Nikki Hauser, News Channel 5.
Thank you, brother. This is all right. I got a question. Everybody that thinks she's a victim, all right, put a 1. Everybody that think that she has pulled off a great flim flam while enjoying the various activities that were taking place, put a 2. I just want to see if it's just me. I don't know what happened. I'm not gonna lie. But the idea that she just was this helpless victim. This is a grown married woman whose husband, and I'm pretty sure, worked for the police force as well. And she did not there's no report of her telling her husband that she was being pressured to engage in intimate activities with a superior. There's no discussion of that anywhere that I've seen. So so that just didn't happen. Like you see what I'm saying? Like, am I tripping? Straight Black Pride on the Wake Up Radio. So to me, I mean, she pulled a good flim flam. I don't know how. I guess it's a small. They just didn't want to deal with it anymore because it was crazy. But the idea that she's this doe-eyed, innocent, virginal woman who, they act like he never, bro, I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. And $500,000 from a little small town like that, this is crazy. So let's review. And before we move on to our last case, she is the police officer jump off, who's with at least half a dozen dudes out of a 60-person police department. So she's with 10% of the force, and she gets fired. And about, 4 other people get fired. All of the people get fired are either black or Latino. Yeah, mostly black. Three black officers, one Latino. The European officers who are involved do not get fired. And then he sues the department and gets $500,000, despite engaging in what we saw of as girls gone wild activity. Attack of the Abominable Snow Bunnies, bro. Attack of the Abominable Snow Bunnies. Anyway, well, that's Megan Hall, and that's crazy. So we will move on to last but not least. Going to go to let's get rid of that and get rid of that and go to this. All right. It says ex-Illinois star Terrence Shannon Jr., potential first round NBA draft pick, is found not guilty of violation. Right? First of all, how many people, because I just learned about this like maybe 2 weeks ago. How many people heard about this case or are familiar with Terrence Shannon Jr.? Y'all let me know, because I didn't know anything about it. It says scouts watched Shannon's case closely ahead of the NBA draft in late June. Anybody know when the NBA draft is? Y'all let me know that too. Former Illinois standout Terrence Shannon Jr., a potential first-round draft pick, was found not guilty Thursday on a charge of violation after a jury in Douglas County, Kansas, spent less than 2 hours deliberating the verdict. The 23-year-old Shannon was accused of committing violation last September while visiting Kansas for a football game between Illinois and the Illini and the Jayhawks. He was charged with battery, which led him to being suspended for 6 games. A federal judge later reinstating him, ruling that his civil rights had been violated. He must have a heck of a lawyer. Shannon testified that he joined 2 roommates and a few Kansas players at a bar on September 8th, 2023, but he only had a few drinks and remembered everything that happened that night. Shannon said he didn't learn of the allegations until several weeks later, and that he had never seen the 18-year-old who had accused him until the case began. Okay, that's wild. What? The woman told police that she was at the bar when a man, who she later identified as Shannon, grabbed her posterior, if you say so, and reached under her skirt to touch her. The woman claimed that the bar was crowded, so she was unable to move. Shannon testified that a woman close to him had been violated and he would never treat another woman the same way. Okay, so he's saying he knows somebody that's been a victim. I was confused for a minute. I read that, it kind of funny. Shannon's lawyers called the allegations a blind accusation and questioned the motives of the woman. They also criticized the prosecutors in Douglas for lack of evidence and the Lawrence detective for thoroughness of his investigation, or lack thereof, I would presume. Many scouts have been watching the case closely ahead of the NBA draft, which is scheduled for, here we go, June 26 and 27. What is that, like a week and a half or whatever? The 6'6" Shannon, who can play point guard and shooting guard, played 5 seasons for the Illinois. I guess COVID season. He was at his best this past season, averaging 23 points a game for a team that reached the Elite 8 before losing to national champion UConn. I guess I really wasn't paying attention to college basketball this year. Shannon was voted first team All Big Ten and third team All America by Associated Press. So this is a successful young man who's on his way to doing things. Okay. So this. Okay. All right. That gives me some clarity, because I wasn't familiar with the case, but yeah, apparently, let's see, can I bring up the other? Okay, so this is from an earlier article. This is when the judge ended his suspension. So we're gonna check this one out. Then we're gonna listen to it. The report says a federal judge on Friday reinstated Illinois basketball star Terrence Shannon, who had been suspended from the team since he was charged with violation in Kansas. U.S. District Court Judge Colleen Lawless found the university had violated Shannon's civil rights. I'm shocked. The suspension, she ruled, deprived Shannon of protected property interest without due process. Interesting. Basically, she's saying it is a violation of the Fourth Amendment. In the case of Shannon, whom the court noted is supporting several family members, his property interests include retaining his chances to be an NBA lottery pick among the first 14 players taken in the draft, and to cash in on potential endorsements allowed under the NCAA's name, image, and licensing policy, NIL. Okay. Shit, guess the computer wants to just do its own thing on that. Plaintiff's participation in sports is vital to the development of his career, as well as his current and future economic opportunities. And considering the plaintiff's intention to declare for the 2024 NBA draft, Lawless wrote in the order issued Friday. Prior to his suspension, plaintiff was projected to be a lottery pick. What is the lottery? What is that? The first 8, 10? Somebody help me out. I forgot. Lawless said that the public interest is not harmed by putting in place procedural safeguards while he is presumed innocent of the criminal charges. The preliminary injunction gives the university the right to appeal. In a statement, Associate Chancellor Robin Kaler says Shannon has been reinstated to full status as a university student athlete, basketball practice and competition. He will continue to review the court order and monitor the case. Shannon, a 6'6" guard, missed 6 games due to his suspension. The 14th ranked Illini have gone 4-2 in his absence and host Rutgers on Sunday. He is averaging a 21.7, team best 21.7 points per game, which is interesting because he ended up with 23 points a game, which means after his suspension, he would really ball. Now, this case comes down to one thing. Big black guy who she knew because she Googled him was accused by random chick. Right? Fortunately for him, this NIL thing exists and he's able to get a lawyer that's competent and able to defeat his enemies, basically. You know, the whole thing is shocking to me. Not that he was accused, that's not shocking. But the fact that he beat this case and the fact that before he beat the case where he is declared innocent, he was exonerated. The fact that he, won this lawsuit to be able to play during the season is shocking to me. Brother Real Black Gentleman says, can he countersue? I know he can. He can countersue, but it depends on like your local jurisdiction and whether or not he will, because sometimes like the countersuit opens you up for a suit outside of criminal court, a civil suit, and civil, the burden in a civil case is less than in a criminal case. So he may not want to do that since he's cleared. If he gets drafted early and just goes on with the rest of his life, he probably just be like, whatever. But he can do that, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, we're gonna look at the video of this, because I think they give some more information than what is provided in these two articles. So we're gonna check out the case of Terrence Shannon Jr.
You will convict Mr. Shannon as charged.
Please do your civic duty. Stop the madness. They have not proven any charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Sign the verdict form of not guilty on both so we can all go home.
And in the end, the jury sided with the former Illini star Terrence Shannon Jr. Today, he was found not guilty on 2 felony charges. Good evening. I'm Brandon Morano.
And I'm Jennifer Roscoe. Back in December, he was charged with rape after he visited a University of Kansas bar. This whole week, jurors have heard witness testimony from both sides. That continued this morning with U of I assistant coach Tim Anderson and the basketball player himself. WCIA3's Amanda Brennan is live in our newsroom. Amanda, what happened next?
Closing arguments started around 1 p.m. and from there, the jury deliberated for almost 2 hours. Next, words from the judge wrapping up this case that we've been following for the past 6 months. In the next story, we've muted the victim and her friends' names from some of the quotes.
In the state of Kansas versus Terrence Shannon Jr., we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty of rape. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty of aggravated sexual battery.
Those were the words the former Illini and his legal team have been hoping for since he was charged in December. That following an incident at the Jayhawk Cafe in September of 2023 after Shannon went to the Illinois versus Kansas football game. An 18, now 19-year-old said he inappropriately touched her under her skirt that night. That accusation led to this week's trial and some intense closing arguments. Ricardo Leal, the assistant district attorney, went first. He called the victim a typical college student, but the defendant...
Mr. Shannon, he's not the typical college student. He is the 6'7" captain of the basketball team. He's got the NIL deals.
Calling him the big man on campus.
He might as well be the king of the University of Illinois.
And saying Shannon can get anything he wants.
And what he wanted... September 9th of last year. It's a typical college student, dressed to go out for a Friday night.
The defense went next.
This is not about Air Jordans or free stuff. This is about someone's life.
Mark Sutter continued to attack Lawrence police and Detective Josh Leitner.
He doesn't do a thing. The only thing he does is sit in his office and waits for come in and talk to him and says, oh, you Googled him? You found him?
Sutter didn't like how the investigation was handled. Next, he focused on the DNA evidence.
There's no male DNA found inside or outside of the vagina. That blows the case out of the water. We should all walk in the jury room, vote, come back, and leave. But there's so much more.
Then he once again references Arterio Morris. He's the former Kansas basketball player who was dismissed from the team 2 weeks before this incident. That's because he was charged with rape, but that was later dropped. In the end, jurors sided with Shannon. His response so far, only this video.
You set the trend. Ooh, talk heavy, George. Because you don't want who God put in position to lead this generation. You don't want who God put in position to lead your family. You don't want who God put in position to break through and not break down.
We reached out to the Douglas County District Attorney, and the spokesperson says, quote, it takes tremendous courage for a survivor of sexual assault to come forward. We will continue to pursue justice on behalf of survivors. Shannon's attorney just got back to us as well, and they say, quote, as we stated in September of 23, we empathetically denied these charges and waited for our day in court. That time has come. The jury has spoken and justice was served. The public owes Terrence Shannon Jr. an apology. Reporting in the newsroom, Amanda Brennan, WCIA3, your local news leader.
All right, Amanda, thank you.
All right. That was the case of Terrence Shannon Jr. I'm gonna just be honest. this brother was extremely lucky. I don't know if he interacts with European females. If he does, I would advise him to not do that. I would advise him, if he can, hire him a matchmaker and get him a nice, intelligent sister and get married and avoid as many European females as possible. That's my advice. And don't go back to Kansas for anything. Like there's no NBA teams in Kansas, right? I'm not tripping. There's no NBA teams in Kansas. You have no reason to go back to Kansas. There's no need to tempt fate with these type of shenanigans, right? I'm gonna be honest. It's so, to me, I'm really so shocked that he was able to avoid this legal onslaught and just avoid just having his whole life just totally derailed. And man. Eventually, at some point, we're going to have to get to the point where there's some type of penalty for these types of allegations. Because here's my thing, and brother, Real Black Gentleman says false rape charges are like a hate crime in itself, or at least a civil rights violation. They're definitely a civil rights violation. I concur. At some point, there has to be some type of penalty for these type of accusations. Brother Kevin says he was targeted because of his NIL deals. And speaking of that, brother, I forgot, it wasn't in either one of these articles. But yeah, they said one of the things, and I don't know if I said this earlier, but one of the pieces of evidence was text messages between her and some of her friends that said got him with some money signs up. So yeah, this was definitely a money grab. And I think Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, had a seminar with his young players about avoiding certain women, and he had Brittany Renner. She's a mulatto. I guess she's an influencer. I actually don't know what she's famous for, but she got pregnant by, I don't know if the young man was still in college. PJ Washington. I think he played. If I'm pretty sure it's PJ Washington that plays for the Mavericks team that was in the finals. So he almost won an NBA championship. She got with him. She's older than him. She got with him when he was like 19 or something. Got pregnant, and getting some of his NBA money. Basically getting his NBA money before he got it. And yeah, that's so. These young men have to understand, and the coaches and the fathers and everything. I mean, you can tell people. In this case, he, appears he didn't even do anything wrong. So it's just like, you just have to understand you're a target, and you're a target for these women, whether it's with them trying to get with you and get what they can get after being intimate with you. Get your seed basically to guarantee themselves basically an 18-year contract. You know what I'm saying? Or these types of allegations, like this type of allegation is wild because there's a 6'6" dude in a public place. Now he went with some of his friends and I guess some of his teammates. So he wasn't the only 6'6" dude, but it's kind of hard for the 6'6" black guy in Kansas to do something untoward to a European female, even in 2024, without somebody noticing or being like, "Hey, yo, what are you doing, cuz?" or whatever. So he dodged it. He dodged a bullet. Again, like I said previously, he dodged a hypersonic missile. You know what I'm saying? This fact that his whole life ain't ruined is amazing. So, congratulations to Terrell Shannon Jr. on avoiding having his life, over nothing. And it's just one of those things that the best thing you can do is just interact with as few unsavory women as possible. And as we see tonight, the snow bunnies on attack. They out here offing people and leading the police on wild police chases. They out here assaulting children. They out here with false accusations. They're just going buck wild. And so, I know we have our problems between black men and black women. And I know brothers like, man, our women out of control and this and this and that. Hey, look, I see the condition of our sisters. I'm gonna be honest. I see it. But what I'm saying is, man, the Abominable snow bunnies is out here, and they on the prowl, they on the hunt, they on the attack, and they going buck wild and acting a fool. And you don't want to get caught up in that. Thank you, brother PJ Washington. Thank you, brother. So I just wanted to put that out there. We always see information about things that our people are doing that is unsavory and untoward and uncivilized. But I just wanted to show that, hey, man, it's just not just us. America is going crazy, and the American female is definitely, completely, and totally out of control. In 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, and probably in 2025, 6, 7, 8, 9, and up to 2030, the way it's going. So with that, brothers and sisters, thank you all for listening. You can follow me on Instagram at dc.radical1, on Twitter at dcradical_one, on OTW2 at dcradical1. Cashapp is $DCRadical1. And you can email me at dc.radical_one at protonmail.com. Don't forget, please, to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to check out our shorts, because we're putting up shorts. I think we're going to have at least one a day for the rest of the week. I told you all I would give you 30 pieces of content in 30 days. And it looks like shorts will be probably a third of those, if not more. So again, thank you all for checking in. And I'll definitely, unless something drastic happens, be back this Sunday. But it's possible I may come back for another day this week. Now I'll let you all know via Instagram and also via the community tab on YouTube. And for those who are watching on Instagram, if you're still watching on Instagram, do me a favor, go over to the YouTube channel and like, share, and subscribe. Because if you're watching me on Instagram, there's no reason for you not to go over and subscribe to the YouTube, because it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And you don't even have to come over here and watch the videos, but you can still do that. And we appreciate that so very much. So, again, brothers and sisters, thank you all for listening and joining me tonight. With that, I say, a BB Fodier and straight black pride. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at dc.radical1. On Twitter, we're at dc_radical_one. And the Cash App is $DCRadical1. Again, thank you for subscribing. A BB Fodier and straight black pride.